For centuries, the definition of literacy has remained narrow and specific. We operated on the assumption that if a student could read and write printed text, they were fully equipped to interpret the world. But a purely text-based framework ignores the vast majority of how human beings actually communicate today. Words on a page represent only a fraction of the information young people process on a daily basis. A student scrolling through a single morning's feed encounters a dense web of complex spatial data, multiple digital platforms, physical gestures in performances, and layered social media campaigns. None of these expressions exist in isolation. A news clip, for instance, requires the simultaneous interpretation of spoken language, visual framing, editing choices, and background audio. The International Baccalaureate defines literacy through its connection to human experience and the practical ways students navigate their lives. This is the concept of multiliteracies. Developing skills across visual, digital, spatial, gestural, and linguistic formats is a baseline necessity, the actual literacy demands of contemporary life. Schools that limit their focus to the printed word leave students unequipped to accurately interpret the complex, multimodal reality they inhabit. In the classroom, this means learning experiences must shift. Students move beyond passive consumption to actively deconstruct the media they encounter. Instead of absorbing a message at face value, learners systematically interrogate the mechanics of how that message is built to influence its audience. When analyzing media, students must break down overlapping layers: visual framing, audio tone, and editing rhythm. Isolating these layers prompts critical questions. Who created this content, and for what audience? They evaluate what's missing, uncovering unspoken cultural assumptions and hidden biases within. This analytical process flips when students become creators. Building their own presentations requires them to actively balance these exact same multimodal elements. They have to carefully consider ethical representation, making deliberate choices about layouts, imagery, and language to appropriately engage their intended audience. Mastering this multimodal toolkit transforms students into active, deliberate critical thinkers. Spoken and written language remains a crucial component of this expanded toolkit, but the approach to it requires a shift in perspective. Language functions as a vessel for identity, belonging, and power. It defines a student's place in the world, carrying far more significance than a simple mechanical tool for communication. A student's home language, regional dialects, and translanguaging practices function as vital resources for learning. These linguistic profiles offer pathways into the curriculum rather than presenting barriers to it. Allowing students to process complex ideas in their strongest language first, before translating them, creates a more inclusive and effective pathway into the curriculum. When a class compares how idioms, metaphors, or historical narratives are expressed across different languages, they reveal distinct differences in how entire cultures perceive reality. Language carries a worldview. By validating a student's multilingual profile, a school inherently affirms their personal identity and cultural agency. Proficiency in multiliteracies and multilingualism serves a specific ethical purpose: the cultivation of an intercultural mindset. These skills provide the raw material for a new way of engaging with the world. The IB defines intercultural understanding as a deep, reflective capacity. It holds distinct value over superficial activities, like isolated cultural celebrations or food festivals. The foundational rule of this mindset is that profound intercultural understanding must always begin with rigorous self-understanding. Students must first recognize that their own family histories, languages, and experiences create a specific, inherently limited perspective of the world. They too speak from a specific frame of reference. This deep self-awareness creates the necessary humility to listen to others. It allows students to recognize that people can interpret the exact same situation differently, and that those differing perspectives can also be valid. Building this mindset requires intentional, systemic curriculum design across all subjects. It cannot depend on the occasional activity or individual teacher interest. Systemic design ensures that students consistently encounter diverse voices, utilize multiple modes of communication, and see their own identities represented with dignity in their daily lessons. Multiliteracies provide the essential tools to navigate a complex, highly layered world. Intercultural understanding provides the empathy required to peacefully share it.